Andrew awoke in the darkness. It was a noise from downstairs that woke him up, a kind of subtle rustling, and the creaking of the floor. He glanced at the chunky glow in the dark clock on his bedside table. It was later than he imagined, nearly 5:30 in the morning. His drowsiness soon wore off as he remembered it was Christmas morning. Like any other excited 4-year-old, he tugged off the covers and crept from his bed, ignoring the coldness of the wooden floor on his bare feet. He headed for the door. As Andrew left his bedroom, he clicked on the door shut behind him. Even in the faint light, he could see the still closed white doors of his parents' and sisters' rooms, grinning to himself as he realized he was the first awake. Andrew gingerly wandered downstairs into the darkness, clinging to the banister for guidance as he tested each step with his freezing toes. He missed out on the one that creaked, nearly hugging the wooden rail as he lunged down. To his surprise, yellow light seeped out from under the closed lounge door. Andrew stopped in his tracks. "Santa!" he thought, as he grabbed the door handle and turned it, pushing it open in one swift, excited movement. "Oh, Andrew, honey, you're up early," said his mother, Michelle, as she put down a present to the coffee table and a plastic supermarket bag full of other gifts onto the floor beside it. She went over to him and kissed him on the top of the head. Andrew looked past her. But where's Santa? Why aren't you putting the presents out?" Simon, the big boy's father, was quick to respond. "Santa's very busy, you know, buddy. You just missed him. He left all these bags, but he's still on such a tight schedule he didn't have time to lay the presents out." Andrew fought over his father's reply, but it seemed logical enough to him and he smiled. "I understand, Daddy." Andrew wriggled past his mother to look at the presents. Eagerly he scanned over them, but there was no sign of what he was looking for. What Andrew wanted most for Christmas was an electric scooter. He'd seen one, bright red and shiny, in the toy shop in town, and his heart set on it ever since. His mother had said it was too expensive, at £250, but his father had told him to wait to see what Santa would bring. Andrew was a little disheartened, but he soon hoped that maybe Santa had left it somewhere else, and his parents hadn't even put it out for him to see yet. He picked up a small gift from the box table near where he stood. "To Andrew," read the tag. "Can I open one now, Mummy, before Lily wakes up?" he asked, clutching it and studying the reindeer pattern of the wrapping paper. His parents glanced at each other. "Soon, sweetie. Not yet. Wait for your sister. Daddy and I will have more presents since left in the bags," Michelle smiled. "Oh, okay, Mommy," said Andrew as he put it back. "See you in the morning." He then turned and left the room, pulling the door shut behind him as he headed for the stairs. "It's Christmas!" yelled a voice that once again woke Andrew from his slumber. His grinning sister Lily was in the doorway. "You should see all the presents." Andrew almost flew from his bed, leaving the blankets on the floor as he darted from his room with his older sister. The pair ran downstairs into the lounge. Andrew knew his parents were right. They definitely did have more presents left to arrange. The table was covered with them, and they were heaped by the fireplace and under the Christmas tree. Simon and Michelle sat in their armchairs, still in their dressing gowns, sipping their Christmas buck fizz. "Go on, kids," Simon smiled as Andrew and Lily began tearing into their presents. Andrew had saved the big box until last. All of the other presents had been opened. The floor was littered with bows, tags, and torn scraps of wrapping paper. Lily was preoccupied with setting up her new Nintendo DS game. Andrew's last present was under the tree, wrapped in dark metallic blue wrapping paper with the silver glittered snowflakes. Andrew crawled down and pulled it out, sliding it towards himself as he sat cross-legged on the floor. He giggled to himself a little, the excitement making his hands hands shake as he found the edge of the wrapping paper and began ripping it off, only to be one thing. As he ripped off the paper, the plain black box was revealed. Andrew paused staring at it, and his head tilted to one side, with scraps of wrapping still in his hands. He wondered why his parents put the scooter in there. "Open it, honey," said his mother from behind. Andrew grabbed the lid of the box and tugged it off. The box was full of colored pens and paints, stickers and glitter, pieces of card, and the pots of glue. The lid off the box still held tight between his hands. It was an art set. "Daddy and I saw how much you liked doing art in school, so you can make things at home now." Andrew stared down into the box, putting the lid to one side. He rooted it through. "Thank you," he said, trying to sound as cheery as he could. But in reality, he was trying not to cry. There were no other presents. Tears prickling in his eyes, Andrew put the lid on the box and tucked it back under the tree, crawling back to the sofa next to Lily. Andrew couldn't stop thinking about the scooter for the rest of the day. He made a gingerbread house with his sister, and they all went for a walk down by the river. But he still thought about it. It was even on his mind as he ate his Christmas dinner. Lily had finished quickly, disappearing back to play with her new toys and games. Yet Andrew just sat, pushing a cold piece of stray carrot down the gravy on its plate. "What's wrong, buddy?" asked his father, crouching down next to him. Andrew feared sounding ungrateful. "I just wanted that scooter, Daddy. All those other things are nice, but..." He didn't say any more, just returning to nudging the carrot around with his fork. His father rustled his short, dark hair and gave him a half smile. "Maybe Santa just forgot it this time. He has so much to remember. Maybe we could fix up your bike sometime. I'm sure that wheel's easy to replace. You could play on that instead if you wanted," he offered. Andrew gave him a weak smile back. "I know," continued his father. "How about you make some nice Christmas pictures for Granny using your new art things?" Andrew nodded, and the pair headed to the lounge, his father patting him on the back. Lily was silent as she played with her new virtual zoo game. "Look at all my monkeys, Andy. I bought 12, and it cost all my coins," she tittered, nudging her little brother and pointing at the perplexed animals on the screen. Andrew looked briefly, his eyes scanning across the dull image, before slumping back onto the sofa. Lily went back to her game without another word. Michelle was out in the kitchen clearing the plates, leaning on a piece of cardboard from the box of a toy. Andrew colored in a picture of his missing scooter he had drawn with his new art supplies. It was bright red, like the one in the shop, and he had put glitter on the silver handlebars to make it sparkle. The TV played seemingly looping playlists of the same Christmas tunes Andrew had been bored of by the middle of the month. The drawing was finished. It wasn't exactly perfect, but it was still the best he could do. "Do you like my picture, Daddy?" he asked, holding it up. "Mm-hmm," murmured Simon. He didn't look up from his laptop, where he was tapping away as usual, occasionally glancing at the stack of papers on the armchair beside him. "My picture for Granny." "Very nice. Next time we go over, you can put it on her fridge," he replied, only looking at the drawing for a second. Andrew sighed. He thought maybe his father would at least stop working for a little while on Christmas Day. Andrew knew that his mother worked at the care home for elderly people, but he didn't understand what his father did. Most of every evening, Simon sat typing from an old spiral-bound notebook or from sheets dug out of dusty dog-eared folders. Sometimes Andrew peeked at the documents that his father had forgotten to put away in a safe that he kept in the kitchen, but it was long, complicated words that meant nothing to him. Andrew slipped the pens back into the art box, taking one last look at the picture of his missing scooter before laying it face down on the table. Huddled up near under the blankets in his new pajamas that night, Andrew tried to go to sleep. He hugged a soft fish toy that his sister had bought him. Why did Santa forget my scooter? He wondered. Am I on the naughty list? That must be why. That time I knocked Mommy's tea on the floor when I stole that cake from Lily's lunchbox, and when I lost my maths homework. He fought tiredly over everything he'd done wrong over the year. His drowsy fear is almost bringing him to tears. That's why Santa forgot. I'm a bad boy. he said to himself gloomily as sleep overcame him. The sound of footsteps downstairs woke him up later that night. He stared out, blinking around his pitch-black bedroom. The clock said it was only 5:10 this time. All the worries of the night before drained away as Andrew sat up in bed. Santa must have remembered. He really did just forget my scooter. I'm not on the naughty list, he thought with glee as he scampered from the bed. He crept downstairs as he did the night before, one step at a time and taking care to miss the creaky stair. He almost ran down and the hall towards the lounge. The door was open and the light was off. I wondered if he heard me coming. Andrew sat down in his mother's armchair. There was a little lamp beside the chair, which Andrew switched on. The room was illuminated by the yellow glow. Andrew took a chocolate from the tin on the floor, pulling off the wrapper and scrunching it into a ball before popping the chocolate in his mouth. He scanned the room as his eyes adjusted to the light. There was no sign of the scooter. Just then, a soft murmur made him sit bolt upright in the chair. It came from the kitchen. Andrew peered down the hallway from where he sat, switching off the light. Maybe Daddy's talking to Santa about my scooter. As he tiptoed towards the dining room, he noticed the door was open too. The doors in his house were always left shut. Andrew stopped by the edge of the kitchen doorframe. A gust of December air brushed against him. Andrew shivered as he hugged himself. The front door was open a crack, swaying. Santa? He asked out loud, his quiet, trembling voice fracturing the silence. He peered into the kitchen. Dim light from the street flooded the room. A figure dressed in black was hunched over by an open cabinet, pawing through it. There were papers all over the floor. Andrew gasped in surprise as the figure shot its gaze around him. The human eyes met his. Andrew was frozen to the spot, quivering as the hooded man just stared back at him. His orange street lamps outside gleamed off the blade of a knife in the man's hand. He wore thick winter gloves and a scarf that covered the bottom of his face. A chipped crowbar lay beside him. He was surrounded by flies and stacks of paper. His father's work that had been pulled from the broken into the unsafe under the sink. That's what they must have came for. The only sound Andrew could make was a small frightened squeak as he backed away from the figure. A black van he had never seen before was parked up on the outside street. He could feel a presence behind him. Before he even had the chance to turn, a gloved hand shot around from behind and pressed its palm over his mouth.
What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video. And I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Ms. Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, please stay pretty.